Hello and welcome back to our marvelous stage here at the Spain Pavilion within Mobile World Congress 2025. It's a pleasure to continue with our program today. As you know, we're dedicating this space to our co-exhibitor companies, those companies that form part of the Spain Pavilion. And now it's the turn of e-iREPACK. I think it's the 5th year that you're a part of. Well, welcome back, Santiago. Santiago Fork is the manager at e-iREPACK, and he's going to present to us From Waste to Wealth, the used mobile market, and the EU's new rules. Well, whenever you want, Santiago.
Thank you very much. It's again a pleasure to be here at the Mobile World Congress once again. Thank you for joining us online and also here in the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. So let me begin by telling you a little story. It's a story about an entrepreneur, a young guy who has many friends, who is very enthusiastic, who usually sees a lot of opportunities where many others just see problems. This is the story of David, as we call him in Spanish. He was in his 20s when he started to work with mobile phones, with used mobile phones. He opened up a store in Madrid, downtown, where he would buy used phones from end consumers. And the fact is that there weren't very many stores at that time doing that. So the business started to grow. He also started to get requests from other parts of Spain to send them the phones that they would buy from his consumers. And so the business started growing, really. And it came a point where he had so much stock that he needed to find new markets. So he started selling abroad. So when you start selling abroad, problems start to occur. And the fact is that in this business, you know, you have a grade A, which is a perfectly conditioned phone, then a grade B, a little less. Well, David was like that. Maybe he started as a grade A guy. It could take a toll on you. It could have been a grade C right now, but I think it's managed to at least stay in a grade B. So right now, David is the CEO of e-iREPACK. e-iREPACK is a wholesaler of used mobile phones. And my clicker skills are not very well today. There we go. We are buying and selling in 79 different countries. About 240,000 units per year, and we have managed to somehow grow from just one store to what it is today, a really truly international operation. Now, 5 billion. If I tell you 5 billion and I tell you that it has to do with the mobile phones, do you have any idea what that could be? I could tell you 3 options. Number 1 is the number of used phones that are sold in Europe in a year. Number 2 is the number of used phones that are discarded in Europe in a year. Or number 3, the number of phones that are sitting in drawers in people's homes worldwide. As you might have guessed, the correct answer is number 1. And number 1 is the number of phones that you have sitting in people's drawers along the world. And those 5 billion units represent no less than 100 tons of gold and 500 tons of silver. And we can continue clicking here, but so with this, there we go, nice, excellent. With this segue, I wanted to introduce a bit of how we're doing with the mobile phone market of second phones, of secondary market. I don't know if I'm clicking right or there. Nice, okay, very good. So smartphones have a penetration of 80% right now. This means that there's a lot of people that already own a smartphone that could potentially be traded in. This is the primary source of used phones, so this is very important. Then, when you talk about smartphones, you take a toll, you see that 15% of all smartphones that are being sold are used. This is an important number. Even in markets like Europe, we can go up to 20%. We can also talk about organized and unorganized market. Organized market is more of the market that we know that are traded, phones that are traded in within mobile operators, manufacturers, companies like Back Market, for example, that they have standardized prices. Unorganized market, on the contrary, is what you get when you can buy and sell your phone from a close relative, or even when you can buy it or sell it from a local store. So still, the market is very big in the unorganized market. So 65% is unorganized, 35% is organized. In Spain, it's pretty much the same. And then when we talk about brands in the used space, we have that Apple is the #1 brand. It amounts to above 50%. Yeah, there we go. Followed by Samsung on a low distant 14%, Xiaomi, Vivo, Oppo, and then the rest comes there. So that's no surprise there. Apple is the one that's doing the best job in the secondary market, even gaining potential new customers for new devices. If you talk about the number of the time that people use a phone, it's now 3.5 years. This has increased along the years. It used to be 2. There are 86 million units sold in Europe in 2023. And this last fact is really important because we have that Europe is a net importer of mobile phones. This means that the used mobile phones that are used in Europe are less than what we produce. In other words, Europe needs used phones in order to be able to sell what they need. And this is a good segue to talk about the new EU regulations. We have 2 things basically going on. One is the CE marking, and the other one is the connector. I'll drop the clicking. So on the one hand, all devices required to have the CE marking. This means that the phone is okay from a regulatory standpoint. And the other thing, which it has a huge impact on the used devices, we'll see, is that from December 28, they have asked that all devices have a Type-C USB connector. Now, the EU has implemented this for a long time. The manufacturers know that this is coming for many years, so they have been able to adapt. But with the used devices, this is not the case, because we're still selling many iPhone 13 and iPhone 14 who don't have this connector. So it will really have a huge impact on the market. In the short term, a shrink in supply means that there will be an increase in price, and an increase in price in the used devices could mean that people could potentially buy more new devices. In the long term, though, there could be a good positive outcome, which is a good incentive to create a new trading program and also reduce charges, which is what they want to do. What happened so far? We are in March, so we're entering the 3rd month in the year. So far, nothing has happened. So we haven't had any shipments detained in the customs, nor for devices that are new, nor for devices that are used. So we hope it continues to be that way. They say that most likely it'll continue for some months, at least for the used devices. All right, to wrap it up. The secondary market is very strong in the world. We're still seeing probably a growth of 10% year over year, which is a lot. Europe is a net importer of used smartphones. And finally, the regulations make sense for new, but don't make so much sense for used devices, at least in the short term. So if you're seeing this presentation, you may have many phones in the drawers at home. So go get the old phones, sell them, recycle them. That it'll be a lot better than just collecting dust inside the drawer. So thank you very much.